moment, now we've got a buzzard in every tree, we're not too bad.
And a kite. There's hundreds of kites. Around here only about 3 weeks ago, I counted 32 kites on this farm.
Yes.
And I don't know what they were eating, but they must have been eating something.
But they're just getting a few too many of them now, the buzzards. The other thing I've seen a kite do, I was bailing at Middlebarton, and a kestrel was coming back across the field. It had got a mouse or a shrew or a vole, and the kite came out of the tree and powered his way forward and harried the kestrel till it dropped its prey, and he took it off him.
Yeah.
Which, if he was feeding young, it was a bit late in the year for that probably, it wouldn't be very good for the poor little kestrel, because there's just so many kites out there and they're going to learn. Let him do the work, catch the mouse, and then we'll come and take it off him.
Yeah. We've got a few kestrels around here as well, so they haven't put them off yet so far.
One yesterday.
Yeah. Actually, as well, in lockdown, I've been doing a lot more self-sustaining activities. I thought, well, at the time when they said 3 weeks, we knew that it was going to be 3-4 months.
Yeah.
So I planted a vegetable garden for the first time.
Oh, yes.
And actually, I was quite successful, considering it was organic, because I didn't want to spend out. It just, I planted them, watered them, and sort of left them to it. Did a bit of weeding.
Didn't put a bit of chicken muck on them, and you got plenty out there.
Well, you put the goat stuff on it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was any better, but chicken's quite rich, isn't it?
Yeah, very
rich. You've got to let it rot for a while.
Yeah.
And I joined up the RHS, just another shout, just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And that was really useful, actually. Did that, and a few times I've managed to produce entire meals for the whole family here. And I produced everything myself. So even last week I had rabbit hot pot. I had parsnips in it. I grew myself sprouts on the side, pumpkin with it. I put a bit of pumpkin in there, onion. We had the rabbit. Obviously, I homemade cider, the whole thing, and I had wine with it. So
good life.
That was. Well, the problem is I was thinking about it. Like, how on earth you manage to be fully self-sufficient? Because that's taken me a good part of 8 months to provide one meal every week, which I've produced most of the stuff for.
You've got to remember, historically, until the Industrial Revolution, maybe stuff started coming in from Canada and Australia, the population hovered between famine and starvation. If there was a bad winter, then people didn't have anything to eat. You imagine how bad it got by March time.
I can't imagine. Is it honestly bad? I mean, that's another thing when people talk about climate change and agriculture. I mean, it's one of those things that we don't realise how dependent we are on the amount of food we produce these days. If we went fully carbon neutral tomorrow, which I don't think is possible yet, and obviously we can try and tone it down over the years. But everyone blames the dairy industry or the beef industry, and yet at the same time, what do you expect? I mean, fair enough. Those two aspects may be able to be reduced, be even cut off. You don't have to eat beef, you don't have to drink dairy, but farming in general is going to be there in some way or the other. You can't keep cutting it down to nothing.
Yeah, but if you start drinking the almond milk instead of the dairy milk, in California that just takes so much water.
Yeah,
and they've got a real problem now with the water supply over there now. You're really depleting the planet a bit there.
And it's being shipped in from the States, and it's all monocrops. This is what a lot of people. I mean, I did agribusiness in Newcastle, and one of the things that people don't realise is, you get rid of the cows, but I mean, you go into a dairy pasture here. There's birds, there's blue tits, there's mushrooms, there's hedgerows, there's fruits, there's various meadow flowers, whatever, what have you, and it comes from down the road. It comes from, let's say, 3 or 4 fields away here, or even 2 miles away from you. You go over there and these vast plantations of soy or almonds.
It's all trucked in.
Nothing, absolutely nothing. Dead, silent, literally nothing. You go into it and you won't see a bird for miles. There's just plantation after plantation. And the difference between the two, I mean, in the long run, you've got to figure out a different way. But surely that's not the answer, is shipping in millions of tons of soy from South America, where they've completely desertified the entire area of life, of any biodiversity. Yeah, there's a lot
to be said for a bit of mixed farming, really.
Definitely.
Certainly up here on the Cotswolds.
We're trying to get someone to come in from up the village to talk about regenerative farming and mixed farming, regenerative. So hopefully that'd be really interesting. But I don't know if you know much about any of it. So what do you do on your place? Did you do anything?
We grow hay for racehorses. That's our main thing.
And is it spray it or is it all?
It's an arable crop. We just treat it. It's just grown like a cereal crop, really, and gets the same treatment. So not as much fertiliser and not much spray. But the big thing is you cannot have any dust in there at all. So you can't have any spores. They send it out down the lab. They charge 40 quid to do a test on it. It's a bit of a joke, really, because we have 5,000 bale block of hay, and they'll take one bale as a sample. And do this mycotoxins tests on it. But it keeps them happy.
And going back to earlier, you do all of that work, and then the horse eats too much of it, and he gets colic and dies.
They ration them. Those racehorses get about £10 a day. which doesn't sound a lot, but some of those stables, they got 200 or 300 horses in training, so it's a ton a day. You know, we got a load going out Monday morning of the best stuff, the finest stuff.
And some of them fetch quite
It's a bit of a niche market, but if you get it right, it can pay quite well. This year we were hit by the drought big time. It was the poorest, it's the best hay we've ever made, but the least quantity. I was talking to a guy from Oxford. He came over to get some clay because he was doing a project at the Ruskin School of Art, and I said, well, I'll give you some clay, you can go out and buy it. And we dug a pit in the workshop, and the clay had come out, and so he took some of that away. And he had no idea that the British wheat crop was down from 15 million tonnes last year to 9 million tonnes this year. Had no idea we'd had a drought, didn't have a clue. And I said, do you realise how much wheat that is? And he said, well, it's 6 million tonnes, isn't it? I said, that is 200,000 30-tonne lorry loads less.
Yeah.
You know, it's just lucky we've had an unprecedented 4 or 5 years now of record global wheat crops.
Yeah.
Because we're consuming about an extra 20 million tonnes every year globally. And it's only because we've had these unprecedented record crops around the world that there hasn't been a shortage. It only needs a political or natural disaster somewhere in the world, and it can soon turn around the other way. People just take this food for granted. They got to Aldi and places, and it's on the shelf, and it's so cheap. I've just been to Aldi before I came here today. Yeah. I bought a kilo of chicken thighs boned out for £1.58. It's free of charge.
Well, somehow they manage, don't they? They do it, but it's not bad quality, are they?
It's brilliant quality.
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they get it that cheap.
Really knows what he's doing. I've got full marks. I mean, it's funny at Aldi, some things are very good. The jam's good. The meat's good.
Slow gin mince tarts. That's a
the
good
mince tarts are spectacular.
They are fantastic.
But the baked beans are rubbish. How can you go wrong with a baked bean?
That's one of the most English things ever.
The beans are the same. It's just the sauce. Whether they put chili or something in it, I don't know. But it's horrible.
I can't say I've ever had Audi.
You can't beat
baked
Heinz baked beans, can you? They might be 3 times the price. They're only 28p a tin in Aldi. Well, about 70p.
Are we allowed to give all this free advertising? Probably it's true. So I mean.
Yeah, no.
We'll find out if they get in contact with us.
Yeah. Slagging them off with baked beans. But no, that's purely my opinion. I've tried it.
Yeah, well, I think most people agree. But that's the thing is, how do most people agree? And yet, obviously,
some people might like them. I suppose if you were a heavy smoker or drinker and your taste buds have been wrecked by alcohol and tobacco, you might need a bit of chili in your baked beans. But I don't. My taste buds are still quite good. I know what I want.